Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new live stream. We are late today, and it's a bit of a struggle, so give me a couple seconds and I'll be fully set up and I'll be able to chat to you all, because at the minute I can't see what any of you are saying. It might just be that no one is watching the stream, as per. But no, it isn't, I'm hoping not. That would be fucking funny if it was. But we are here. Oh no, not you, no, dickhead, George, wrong app. Fucking hell. Oh, great. Nice. Well done, George. Camera's fucked. Kids crying. Brilliant. There we go. We're back. Wonderful. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't technology a wonderful thing? Elgato. Display. Hello, comments! Oh my god, we're popular. I'm a little bit famous. No, I'm not at all. Welcome to the Who Bulletin, everyone. Our weekly Doctor Who news show here on the George Sheard YouTube channel. I hope you're all having a lovely week. I hope there's been no fun little controversies. Probably not. But let's say hello to you all before we get into all that. Hello, welcome to Ben. Welcome to I Don't Even Know, The Underhenge, Doctor Who Mania, Dr. Master, Oasis Central, Dalek Kronos, Mark Fernkopf, Tom Hughes, Mr. Scarlo, Hooligans, Paul Malley, Masigan, Honoka TV, Thunder King 24, Stream Rocks, Jess Hood, and that, I think, is everyone. Welcome to the stream. I haven't read all your comments yet, but welcome, 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 one and all. This is a sad Who Bulletin. I mean, it is. Well, it's a happy Who Bulletin. Every Who Bulletin's a happy Who Bulletin. Don't get too depressed. Not yet, anyway. We haven't started playing 13 yet. This is the first Doctor Who news Who Bulletin that we've done since the series is finished. Sad. But we're here and we're going to continue. So if you're not familiar with the concept of what we do on here, we do talk about Doctor Who's, that's a good one, that, Doctor Who news, and we do it every single week, every single Tuesday here from 7 till 8. Even if there's no news at all, we'll still be here unless announced otherwise, obviously. But we are here and we're talking about Doctor Who news, and thankfully we actually do have some fun news to talk about in regards to the Doctor Who spin-off. That is coming out very soon, sorry, that's not coming out very soon, but it's being filmed very soon. There's been a lot of rumours about this, the war between land and sea. Is it a Sea Devil spin-off? Is it a unit spin-off? Is it this? Is it that? Who's going to be in it? A lot of questions to be answered, and there are a lot of rumours going around that we're going to talk about today. But in the meantime, we're going to do some other stuff. What we usually do is we do our Hoodle. If you're not sure what a Hoodle is where we look at photos from Doctor Who episodes and try and guess what it is on a fun little game website. You can play it yourself. There's a brand new one every single day. I don't look at it a whole week and then come back to it and do 7 in 1 on these lovely weekly streams. But we'll do that first, the Hoodle, then we'll talk about the rumours, chat to you guys, and then towards the end of the stream, towards 8 o'clock, we'll head over into playing 13 again, as we always do every stream, and discuss more just random theory stuff, so that'll be fun. In the meantime, I have a monster, and I have some pork pies. I know a lot of people are very sad that I don't have pork pies every time, but today is a pork pie day, ladies and gentlemen. Not just any pork pie, but a cooperative Melton Mowbray 2 mini pork pies. Other pork pies and shops are available, but this is today's Who Bulletin, ladies and gentlemen. It's lovely to have you along for the ride, all 31 of you. And yeah, how have you all been? As we load up Hoodle. Not Strictly Come Dancing. Okay. Almost fucking died there. That's professional, George. Just fucking die on stream. Fuck me. So, what is this? We have a chest of sorts that I don't recognise, but the aspect ratio looks cropped. So I'm gonna guess Whittaker. I'm trying to think what Whittaker episode would have this. Was it the Witchfinders, maybe? I don't think that's true, but... Oh! Nicola Tesla's Night of Terror! I remember this train scene. Oh, this episode was stunning, man. Was it actually good? I feel like I enjoyed it when I watched it. Mr. Scarlo, nervous for graduation? Don't be. It's a lot of fun. It's celebrating your achievements, so don't be scared of it. Try not to be. I have terrible social anxiety in public, and I was panicking as well before going on stage and walking across. But I was fine, and trust me, if I was fine, you probably will be as well. So, best of luck and congratulations. Crap, I found out my school isn't doing drama A-level because the teacher quit randomly. That is annoying. I had that with media, so with media for me, like when I did A-levels, they didn't do media anymore. They did like a BTEC equivalent kind of thing, but it wasn't the main A-level media, so I was a bit sad about that. But it's not the end of the world. Very sore, I appreciate seeing your stream pop up as a distraction. I can't even say that. Very sore, so I appreciated seeing your stream pop up as a distraction. Well, welcome. Thank you, Front Dawn, for joining. I'm hoping this stream will help cheer you up or give you something to look forward to. We'll be going for 3 hours tonight, 1 hour on YouTube and 2 hours on Twitch, so hopefully that's more than enough to get you excited and, I don't know, into the stream. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yes, I'm glad to have you here. We're here every Tuesday. Tesla episode is elite. I love it. Let's get through a cool species. That's cool. Welcome back, Trippy Intellect. I can attest it's a banger episode. Yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It's one of those things. I haven't actually discussed the Martha thing yet. We kind of wait a little bit and then we'll talk about it shortly. This one, enter coordinates. I'm kind of thinking, it's Capaldi, isn't it? But I'm not sure what episode of that. I'm thinking with Dark Water would be my guess. Oh God, not far off. Death in Heaven. Oh my God, I'm actually surprised I got that bloody close. No, they are not bringing Mickey back, bro. They are not doing that. Shakespeare Code. Oh, it's Voyage of the Damned. And I would know because my name is Max. Ding. I don't know how it was, but yeah, that's his little fucking carriage, isn't it? Lovely. And then you got Alonzo at the end. Fantastic. This is Beantown. I'd know that shit anywhere. You can even see Margaret Slovene sat there. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Also a good one. Power of 3. The cubes. Really? And that would have almost been a good first hint. That's quite a good one. This one's Whittaker, I think. Or is it? Yeah, this is Whittaker. Has to be. No, it's not! Oh my God, no, I literally almost made a mistake there. It's 73 yards. I'm on it. Like, I'm not messing up a season 1 episode. It's at the end where the grandma gets out the car. Or grandma, where the old Ruby. So Yogurt, it's one of our dates. So it's always the aspect ratio. If it cuts the BBC logo in half, then it's post Whittaker. And if the BBC logo's smaller, then it's probably Shooty. Family of Blood. And I think that might be a whole week there. Oh no. Fuck off, George. I did this one last week. So we've done a whole week there already. Really? That doesn't feel right. We should have more than that, right? Oh yeah. I guess we have. I think a few of these were easier than others, which is a bit of a shame. But there we go. There's your Hoodle. Hope you enjoyed that. So, let's talk about the war between land and sea. Let me just try and get an article up about it. So reminder, but opinions on the aspect ratio. I kind of want them to go up to 16:9, works better for TV. I'd agree, but then I think the newer aspect ratio subconsciously makes it look more cinematic, and I think if we went back, you'd sort of recognise a downgrade. Okay, here we go. This is from the TV Zone. Love TV Zone. The War Between Land and Sea. Rumours of new Doctor Who spin-off. So for those who aren't in the know, basically last year, or earlier this year, it was on someone's CV, I believe, that there was a sort of Doctor Who spin-off titled The War Between Land and Sea. Or at least that was the cover title for it. That is basically... was rumoured to be a Sea Devils spin-off. And a lot of people were sort of like, oh, this is going to be terrible. And we've talked about this on the Who Bulletin at great lengths. I've talked about this before, because I always get annoyed with people who turn around and go, well, what's the point? Why the fuck would they ever make a Sea Devils spin-off? It's like, well, it's not a Sea Devils spin-off. It's called The War Between Land and Sea. We assume it's going to have Sea Devils in it. It probably will at some point. But what we're failing to really admit is that it could just be a cool anthology spin-off. It could be lots of different things. It could be... And also, beyond that, it's one of those things that if you're going to commission a spin-off this early on, then you know it's going to be good. Because if they're not going for Unit, if they're not going to go for Torchwood again, if they're not going to go for something that you'd expect them to go to, it's interesting. Why would you choose to go for Sea Devils, right? I know it's probably not a Sea Devils spin-off, but if it was, I'm interested, because you take the least well-received episode of New Who, more or less, Legend of the Sea Devils, which was just kind of just really bad, actually. And you go, let's make a Sea Devils spin-off. But I don't think that is the case. But yeah, anyway, let's have a read of this. Lands on BBC One and iPlayer. The Mirror newspaper was the first publication to reveal the commission late last year, where it was reported the series would focus on classic Doctor Who foes, the Sea Devils, a villain first seen opposite John Pertwee's third Doctor in the 1970s, before returning opposite Jodie Whittaker's 13th Doctor in 2022. A source later told The Sun, Doctor Who fans love the monsters, and the war between land and sea will hopefully give viewers something new and different to enjoy. The Sea Devils and their cousins, the Silurians, have both featured in 21st century Doctor Who, so modern audiences will be familiar with them too. So it's going to be some sort of Silurian Sea Devil thing. Production listings from The War Between Land and Sea suggest the fantasy drama to commence production in September 2024, suggesting the series will air mid-2025 after Season 2 of Doctor Who, which would be great. That sort of makes sense. They've just wrapped Season 2 and they're sort of scheduling to start production for this spin-off in a couple months from now. God, September's a couple months from now. No, it's not. It's 3 months from now. Oh my god. No, it isn't. It's 2 months from now. Oh shit. Online CVs of those involved in the series state that the show will comprise of 5 60-minute episodes which will air on BBC One and iPlayer in the UK. Also stated is that the series will be directed by Dylan Holmes-Williams, who directed Doctor Who Season 1, Episodes 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble, which is great. If that's true, then that's absolutely spot on. I know a lot of people are like, well, Torchwood used to be this long. No. Like, 5 episodes? It's like a sort of limited series, and the thing I love about a limited series is a limited series could just be its own fucking story and it's good, right? Now sometimes they're not, but like a limited sort of series, like a 5 60-minute episode thing is great because of that for me. Now first of all, it's 60 minutes, so that's a step up anyway. We had 5 60-minute episodes. That is equivalent to how many 45-minute episodes? So 5 and then take away 15 minutes off each, George. Just, it's easy. It's easy, George. 5, 6. Yeah, almost 7 45-minute episodes. So almost a full series worth of Doctor Who. But this is sort of just packaged in a smaller sort of thing. And yeah, you're right. Children of Earth was 5 episodes. And that was fucking brilliant. So, spot on. When it comes to... and also, Dylan Holmes-Williams, great director, doing 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble, both really interesting and unique in different episodes. I'm completely game for that. When it comes to casting, a member of the Doctor Who forum, Gallifrey Base, has suggested that it will be led by Freema Agyeman, reprising her role as former Doctor Who companion Martha Jones. She will reportedly be joined by Gemma Redgrave, Kate Lethbridge-Stewart, Ruth Madeley, Shirley Ann Bingham, and Bonnie Langford as Mel Bush as members of Unit. The same contributor suggested the Sea Devils will appear in the series but will not be the main focus of the show, which will be set in present day in a rural English village. The series will be produced by Bad Wolf Productions. The BBC declined to comment on the war between land and sea when approached by TV Zone. Meanwhile, the latest series of Doctor Who has become the BBC's biggest drama of the year so far for younger viewers, as well as consistently being one of the best performing titles on iPlayer. Yada yada yada, all this sort of lovely stuff about viewing figures and stuff. So the key stuff to take away here, I wonder if we've got... No, right, let's see if we can source this actual Gallifrey base thing, right? Because I've seen this talked about. Here we go. So, courtesy of a Twitter user at CybermanAlf, who has provided this for all of us to enjoy. This is what was posted on Gallifrey Base. Martha Jones will be leading the series in a rural present-day English town, and yes, the unit team are involved, Kate, Shirley and Mel. The title isn't literal, as a lot of people have said recently, and it's quite distinctive to previous spin-offs. The Sea Devils are in it, though. So there's an interesting, observation, and a lot of, interesting talk. Now, one thing to consider before we talk about any of this is that it's all rumour at this point. The CV stuff is true. It is very likely that we are getting a Doctor Who spin-off called The War Between Land and Sea, or at least with the fake title of The War Between Land and Sea, right? So that is something of interest. That is definitely happening. The stuff about Martha, the stuff about Unit, the stuff about the Sea Devils, the stuff about the episode length and all that sort of thing, that is up in the air and it's up for debate. And that's sort of what I want to talk about today is the interesting aspect of that. Obviously, these things can kind of come from nowhere. We know very well with Doctor Who that leaks come out of the blue and they end up being completely right, and that's amazing, but also annoying. So I'm sorry if I've ruined that for you, but whatever it is, we'll be filming in September, so will likely be announced soon. If Martha Jones is coming back, I think that would be a really great idea. I almost kind of feel like, though, that the role of in a little English village being suited more to, Gwen Cooper and having it in, a Welsh village. Maybe the same Welsh village that we saw in 73 Yards, perhaps. The BBC have also trademarked the name. So yeah, it's definitely happening. It's definitely a spin-off that's coming for Doctor Who, and that's really exciting in itself. It's the first Doctor Who spin-off we've had since 2016, with Class, our first on-screen Doctor Who spin-off that isn't Big Finish. So that's massive. That's a huge deal to be getting that off the bat. And yeah, that's obviously super, super exciting. I'm really glad to have this as a thing. And if it's a mini-series, or it's an anthology series, or if it's a limited series, or if it's one of many planned series, that I'm very, very excited. If Martha's in it, I think that would be interesting. It doesn't say who it's written by, but I think it would be most likely written by Russell. But it could be a case of Torchwood, where it's offhanded to someone else. And the good thing with Doctor Who spin-offs is you can kind of make them chronological really nicely, because they're not hopping about in different spaces and times. They're very much in one setting, so Russell might actually be quite well suited to it. Yeah, no, that's an interesting observation though. Yeah, a lot of people calling for a Unit spin-off, a lot of people calling for a Torchwood spin-off, all that sort of thing. Also worth bearing in mind, on the Whoniverse iPlayer thing, Martha Jones is kind of front and centre on that, which is interesting. It kind of makes you wonder, is that something we should have been paying attention to? Why is Martha being put front and centre if not to come back? Freedom Agyeman is someone who's had a lot of success in the TV acting world recently, and it would be a very interesting character to see come back. We've had her work with Unit and then quit Unit and go freelance, so to have her sort of defending a town in the modern day with some of the Unit team in and out kind of involved, but she's not working for Unit, but maybe she's working alongside Unit. I think could be really interesting. At the end of the day, most of these Doctor Who spin-offs are going to be similar in the sense of Torchwood, where it's there's a rift in space and time and it keeps dropping aliens on Earth, right? That's interesting, and I like that. There's always ways of bringing aliens to Earth the Doctor doesn't have to deal with. And yeah, That's interesting. And it does beg the question, and it thinks they might try and keep a secret. Let's say Martha is in this series. It's likely that Martha may even come back in season 2, and we just don't know about it. So I bet they'll give Martha a new love interest. Oh, I bet she'll just not have any love interest. If Martha comes back, I'm going to move that because that looks ugly. As does that. If Martha comes back, they should just ignore that Mickey even existed, to be honest. If you don't mind, I'm going to blow my nose for this because I can hear myself getting bunged up. I feel like it's not a good sound on the microphone, so I do apologise for that. I'll be courteous. Yeah, you'll be glad you didn't have to hear that. And yeah, Russell did say he'd work with Eve Miles again soon as well, so I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of different stuff going on here. Whatever they do with this spin-off, and the thing is, and I've mentioned this before with Doctor Who spin-offs, right? Doctor Who spin-offs have to be sort of led by someone we already know, otherwise it doesn't really work. The Sarah Jane Adventures worked because we loved Sarah Jane as a character, and we were invested in her as a character, but it put her in a new world with new people, and you followed that, and you grew to love them as well. Same thing with Torchwood. Jack Harkness, you're already familiar with as a character. Him coming back, okay, well this is cool, not in the main show, but interesting that they're doing something with him, right? And then with this, it's like, it would be a shame if you didn't use any of the Doctor Who universe's many actors who are sort of potentially interested. You know, I could see Freema Agyeman coming back very easily. We had Catherine Tate come back last year. It's a great, like, love from the fan base. I don't think she could come back again. I don't think Rose would be a good idea. So I think if you're going to bring someone back from the first Russell T Davies era in terms of a companion, Martha would absolutely be the one. I think fans have been calling out for Martha to return for years. People have really wanted this, and I think of all the people, she's probably the most interesting character to bring back, because she was always very career focused as a character. Like, she was very focused on her career as a doctor, as a nurse, or whatever, in her industry, then changing that to go and work for UNIT by the time we get to Series 4, and then by the time we get to the end of time, after Journey's End and Stolen Earth, after the events of that, she quits UNIT and goes freelance. So we don't really know anything past that, and I think that's why it's really interesting, because her coming back could be a really, like, I don't know, sort of different and exciting story to see, like, what she's been up to these last 10 years, and the rest, you know. It's a character who could have progressed a lot since then. She might have a family now. She might be by herself, you know. We don't know, and I think that's what excites me about that prospect, is I think she could be a really, really interesting character study. We see a character we already know, but it's in a new context, and it's years and years and years later. That's what I kind of liked about seeing Donna in the 60th. Obviously, with that, you have to deal with the whole Meta-Crisis story, so that sort of makes sense within Doctor Who. But with Martha, I feel there's so many interesting things you could do with her character that haven't been done yet. It's currently worth noting that Freema is currently doing theatre and finishes in August. That is interesting, mind. I will say. That is very interesting. And yeah, it all adds up to me. And I think for me, I would very much be interested to see this come about. Someone on Twitter has sent me this. At @1 Schalke fan. So I'm going to read this out on stream. Nope. This is from Doctor Who magazine in December. I think I've got this issue, you know, as well. Hang on. It was last year. I promised you a big, mysterious 8-word titled thing. I said, "Big news soon." I've stretched the definition of soon. It's stayed a secret for a whole year. Okay, it's been a bit delayed. We were busy. Working on season 1 and 2 simultaneously means we're working on 18 episodes of Doctor Who at once. And believe it or not, that only occurred to us when it happened. But now we're fully up to speed, and here comes the reveal of those 8 words any month now. It has 2 scripts so far, 3rd being delivered before Christmas, and I absolutely promise you it's wonderful. So this all lines up to me. This absolutely, it's a great show, because I remember reading this and thinking, I have no clue what this is about. But this is after. This is definitely not Doctor Who. It establishes that this 8 words title thing is separate to Doctor Who, because you're talking about Doctor Who season 1 and 2, and then we've got this, right? 2 scripts being delivered, third being delivered before Christmas, which means that if it's 5 episodes long, that would have been 2 script deliveries in maybe January and February, pre-production after the end of season 2, wrapped, which was very recently, a couple months ago, and then going into production for September. It all lines up, it all makes sense. To me, anyway, it makes sense and it all lines up. So I don't know what you guys think. Do you have any faith in these rumours? For me, I personally do. I don't think it's the same thing as like the Jack Harkness rumours from Series 11 and the Percy the Cat thing. I think this holds some legitimacy. So I can believe it. I can, in some sense, believe this. Yeah, exactly. The war between land and sea is 8 words, so that lines up perfectly. Oh. Oh dear, I forgot about the Farewell Sarah Jane thing. Shit. That is annoying. Oh man, that's rough, yeah. Oh, nice. Well, thank you for that, Ben. Much appreciated. Yeah. Very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. Guess what we're going to do, guys, because it's hit 7:30. We're going to promote the podcast very quickly, and then we're going to move on to talking about more Doctor Who stuff. For those who aren't aware, and it is linked in the chat, I have, with a mate of mine, a podcast called Nostalgia Bit. We talk about it every single week. We do promote it on here. I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but the last episode that we did do, and the reason I'm going to talk about it is that the last episode we did, was actually about Doctor Who. It was actually a full Doctor Who Season 1 review. I'm not going to do one here on the channel, but here it is. We've got a YouTube channel, which is available now. You can go and subscribe to. It's good stuff, and it's, as Colin Baker would say, even more of me. It's a podcast we do. There's new episodes every single Thursday, and the last episode we did was about Doctor Who. Before that, YouTube. Before that, other stuff. Before that, Star Wars, and on and on and on. We've only just been uploaded to YouTube recently, but it is also available on Spotify, so you can go and find that yourselves as well. At Nostalgia Bait, here it is on Spotify, and that's actually linked in the chat, pinned fully. So please do check that out. And if you watch the Doctor Who one and you like the vibe of it, you like the vibe of our conversations and stuff, then there are another almost 20 episodes to go back on if you have any other ones you want to watch. And there's plenty more where that came from. We've planned way in advance. So if you think this is one of those projects that I pick up and then forget about after a month, this ain't it. We are going ham, and I'm very excited about this, and I'm really chuffed with all the love and support you guys have given the podcast so far. So thank you all very much for that. Please do check out the links in chat, both the YouTube and the Spotify. Again, both of those linked in the description of this live stream as well. You can go and check it out. You can go and give us a follow. Go and give us a subscription over on YouTube. That would be really greatly appreciated. So yeah, please do check that out. I'm not going to waffle about it anymore, but as I say, it would be really nice if you guys check that out. Drop us a subscription. Check out the content and all that sort of lovely stuff. We talk about it every single week on here, so we're not going to go on too much about it. But as I say, we talk about all sorts of stuff. But Doctor Who is a recurring thing, as is Star Wars, as is video games. We have our interests, and obviously one of my main interests is Doctor Who. So yeah, we do talk about Doctor Who every now and then, and hopefully you enjoy that enough to check out some of the other episodes. So yeah, that is enough of that. Let's do... Is it too early to play 13? No, is the answer. So please do ask me any sort of questions you want to ask. Let's talk about the spin-off. Let's talk about your opinions on that. What monsters would you most like to see in the spin-off? If it was the war between land and the sea, and we had 5 episodes and we had different monsters in every episode, what would you most like to see? What would we most like to see, guys? Go on, give me something. What do you reckon? Weeping Angels, Autons, Sea Devils. Weeping Angels would be a good one for a little, like, English village. That would be good. I mean, we did kind of see that in Village of the Angels, but still. Sea Devils, obviously, like, no-brainer. Autons is interesting. Yeah. Axons. Brilliant singular classic outing, and I need them back ASAP. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. Axons would be fun. I'd like ones that I can't even speak. I'd like ones we've seen mainly on Earth, if not only on Earth, such as Auton, Slovene, Sycorax. Cool, yeah. All companions work together. The Fisher King is interesting. Macra is an interesting one. The Daleks, but the Doctor is completely and entirely unavailable. Dalek, like a lone Dalek would be interesting, but then I guess we kind of did that with Resolution. I guess we just don't want to retread old ground, right? Village of Zygons, Krynoid. There's some good shouts here, some good shouts. So in the background we're going to play 13. We do this every single week as well, but if you're not familiar, it's a great little game, it's very addictive, and I'm going to keep chatting to you guys, keep reading your queries and questions out, and just play this wonderfully horrible game in the background. Chameleons, the first one. Yeah, that would be kind of cool, actually. I think there's just a lot of old classic villains we could do stuff with. I'd love to see more of that love. You know, we got Sutek come back, obviously. And we've had the Toymaker. I just would love to see some more real classic villains, you know. I think one of Pertwee's villains has got to be overdue at this point. You know, we had the Orthons, obviously. That was sort of originally a Pertwee monster, but let's have something new, you know. We've had a few First Doctor ones, I guess, Mondasian Cybermen and Toymaker. But I just wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more, I don't know, just some more obscure stuff. I wouldn't mind seeing, like, Fenric, you know? I wouldn't mind seeing just some, like, real batshit old monsters that no one ever thought would come back. I'm so disappointed there was like a deleted, not a deleted scene, because they never filmed it, but there was a deleted thing from The Legend of Ruby Sunday, which would see the Zarbi back again, and I'm just, oh my god, I wish we'd seen that. What I would have done to see the Zarbi back on fucking screens in the year of our Lord 2024. So much potential with monsters. There's so many that have such potential and haven't even appeared in New Who. Fenric would be cool. Giant ants should come back. Just anything goofy, I'm game for. Do you know what I mean? Like anything a bit daft. It's peak Doctor Who for me, daft. You sort of need to have a little bit of daftness going on. Otherwise, what's the point? What is the point? If you can't have a little bit of daft every now and then, you've lost it. No, that's not technically true. But still, I just love the idea of doing, like, yeah, more sort of daft old monsters. I don't, off the top of my head, I'm not sure if I can even think of any that I would, off the top of my head, want. Other than, like, Zarbi, or maybe, like, the Mechanoids or something. Is that it, Mechanoid? Is that right? Am I just got that completely wrong? Yeah, maybe I have, you know. There we go, fix that. Ice Warriors would be a good one. Naimon, Ashad spin-off. I think anything big can't really work. I think anything... Oh, Rutans! Oh, please! Oh, I'd do anything for a fucking Rutan story. I've wanted a fucking Rutan... Rutan? I wanted a Rutan story for years, man. Honestly, like, I've not even seen a single story with them in, but I fucking love them. I just think that just think they're cool. They're like so like intrinsically connected to the Sontarans, and we've seen the Sontarans so many times. We've never bloody seen a Rutan part like Fang Rock, is it? Is that, or am I getting that completely wrong? I might be getting my Doctor Who episodes mixed up here, but I swear to God it's Fang Rock. Do you think the leak is 100% accurate? No, I don't think any leak is 100% accurate. Same thing with the 60th ones. Like, even though it was clearly based in truth, not everything that was said there was exactly 100% accurate. So, I don't know. But for me, it's like, yeah, I think with any leak, you have to sort of take it with a pinch of salt, don't you? Take it from someone who did a lot of Doctor Who news and leaks back in the day. You have to take everything with a pinch of salt. You can't rely on fucking anything at all, ever, because you just end up looking like a mug. The people who do like leak videos and stuff, and no disrespect to them, I'm sure it's a great form of content and it's a lot of fun. But for me, it's like the reason I stopped doing it is because you just look like a fucking idiot when it just turns out to not be true. The one thing that the Doctor Who fans can be credited on, though, is that they don't actually call people out on their mistakes. Yeah, Jadoons could be cool. Krillitane could be really interesting. I just want to see one that hasn't come back in a while. Like, let's do an old classic Who monster in the spin-off. Let's just bring back a classic Who monster for the sake of it. Let's just do that. Let's just do that because it will be fucking fun, that's why. And instead of doing it where it's like, we have to bring it back in the main show first so the general audience know what it is. No, because we were able to do that with Torchwood. We didn't bring back any old monsters in that, but like we did do new monsters and people were perfectly fine with that. So we just treat any old monster coming back can be treated as a new monster. People don't seem to fucking get this as well, by the way. Oh, I fucked that so much. Ah, shit. People don't seem to get this, right, when it comes to like Sutek. People are like, well, so much for not you doing any old stuff. It's like, well, yeah, it's still a fucking reset for the show, though, isn't it? It just is, right? Like, you look at it, be fucking real with yourself. Like, it is still a reset for the show. You've got to be able to still see that, because it is. Like, if you don't know who Sutek is, watch some fucking reaction videos, right? Watch some reaction videos of the Empire, the Legend of Ruby Sunday, right? Some of them are like, oh, I guess this is like an old Who thing, but damn, I'm excited, right? Watch Blind Wave's reaction, right? They fucking get it, in my eyes, right? Where they're like, holy shit, this is really cool. I have no idea who this guy is, but this is cool, because it's built up to and the moment is earned, whether you know who that character is or not. At least in my opinion. Like, obviously I knew who Sutek was going into it, so it's a bit biased, but I think, like, it is accessible. And I have friends at work who I've not watched every episode with, but like I've been chatting to them about every episode, and like the Sutek stuff worked for them. They enjoyed that. That's not a criticism. So it baffles me that Doctor Who fans are criticising the BBC for bringing back old monsters because it'll alienate new fans. I'm like, the only people alienating fucking new fans are Doctor Who fans who are telling them, oh, you don't get this. So fuck off. Just let them be. They can understand fucking like media and TV and film. I'm going on a bit of a rant there, aren't I? But yeah, the point still stands. It's very silly to me. So yeah, bring back some old classic daft Doctor Who monsters, because the general audience won't be able to tell the difference anyway, and fun for returning audiences who are fans of the show. It rewards them for sticking around and still being fans of it if we get to see fucking the Macra in a random little English village, or we get to see the Zarbi just for some fucking reason, right? That's fun as a Doctor Who fan, right? That is fun. That's what almost part of what being a fan of a show like this actually is about, funnily enough. God, that was a proper rant, wasn't it? God damn. I'm meaning it sort of, and again, no shade to anyone who, you know, does make any sort of content or has any sort of these opinions. Like, it's absolutely fine. Like, do your thing. I have no judgment in regards to anyone else's opinions. I don't even fucking value my own opinions on shit. Never mind having the ability to criticize other people's. So don't worry about that. For me, it just annoys me because it's like, well, just give general audiences a bit of credit, because if you alienate general audiences, then you're doing exactly what you've said that you don't want the show to do, and that is make new people feel like they have to catch up on fucking years of content when they don't. You don't have to catch up on years of content to know, like, the threat of Sutek. He's the god of death. That's all you need to know. Don't insult the audience's intelligence. They didn't have to know who the fucking Daleks were in 2005, but they still got it because they had an impact and the Doctor had a history with them, so you trusted the Doctor, right? Same with people who didn't watch The Giggle, right? You still understood who Maestro was. You still understood the threat. Yeah, Vervoids would be a good shout. Maggots from the Green Death. There's loads of great options, honestly. There is genuinely loads of great options. That's why I love Doctor Who. So many years and so much of a backlog of like camp shit villains that it's just beautiful. Oh, I just love this fucking show sometimes, man. It's just marvelous, isn't it? You're able to have such a backlog of really camp naff villains that work just brilliantly well in any generation and era of a show's history, and isn't that just brilliant? You don't get that with other shows, man. I keep fucking this up, and it's just not going particularly well. Done. Fucking waste. Oh, I almost got to 10 as well. Quarks, Cybermen without the Master. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Cybermen have been done to death. We need a break from the Cybermen. Unless, of course, he's in a spin-off, then I don't mind. I just don't want to see the Master and the Cybermen and all that sort of thing. I don't think the Daleks should be done in a spin-off. I think any big villains that deserve a big, playing field shouldn't be brought back in like a daft spin-off. Not that it would be daft. Oh, you know what? I don't care about this thing, I actually just love Doctor Who being camp and stupid. That's the show I grew up on, and I love it for what it is. You're not convincing anyone ever that Doctor Who is cool. It's campy, it's cult sci-fi, it's absolute, like, peak sci-fi British television. Absolutely, 100%. And I'm not denying that, and I've been a fan for years, and I stand by it. But don't ever try and pretend that Doctor Who is like the coolest fucking thing on earth. It's not. But that's its charm. That's why it works, because it is so unapologetic and wonderful in its own right. For me, anyway, that's how I see it. You don't try and make Doctor Who cool, right? Because don't try and convince people, being like, oh, general audiences aren't going to know what they're going to be they're not going to like it. Who fucking gives a shit? Oh no! I genuinely think Doctor Who might be dead because I didn't like the Ruby Sunday Mother reveal. It's like, okay. Doctor Who was kept alive during the 90s when there was no such thing as streaming or like on-demand proper television, right? It was kept alive because of books, it was kept alive because of audio dramas, and most of all, it was kept alive because it has a passionate fucking fan base, and it still does, and you know what? It probably always will. Until we have a generation that grows up without Doctor Who, then there will always be a fan base for it. There always will be. And now more than ever, the BBC are too stupid to look a gift. They're not stupid enough to look a gift horse in the mouth like this. Doctor Who is a cash cow. Always has been. Because, nerds like us will actually buy into it, right? It doesn't matter whether fucking half the US audience does in fucking Disney Plus. Doesn't matter what some online like geezer tells you that it's too woke and Doctor Who's going to get cancelled. Doesn't matter that Nigel Farage is talking shit about it. Like, it is what it is. It's a camp daft sci-fi show. It always has been. It always will be. And it's never ever apologised for that, and nor should it. Oh, Absorbaloff would be good. Swarm and Azure, what a wasted sort of couple villains, because they were actually really, really good. Do you know the thing I love the most about them that never got explored? Right, at the beginning when, like, Swarm fucking, like, shifted his, like, form, and it was sort of like a bit of a regeneration, right? Those were played by two different actors. There was actually an on-screen regeneration for another species that we have never seen before, and we did fuck all with that. And I think that is such a waste, because, my God, I was fascinated. I was locked in. As soon as I realised I was a different actor, I was like, oh, so they did a whole morphing face change, and it's a different actor. So this is an alien species that can also regenerate. And the Doctor is from a species of people who can also regenerate, but aren't the Time Lords. So that's interesting. There's a lot of, like, lore and story opportunities in that, right? Nope. Unless that did get answered and I just completely forgot. But I just think, oh man, what a waste. Because they were actually cool villains. I genuinely thought the guy who played Swarm especially was fucking great. Camp as fuck, but that's what Doctor Who is. I don't think we'll ever see them back. Tecteon was also wasted. I think they had some good stuff with Tecteon, and I'm really glad they like lent into that. I would have been really annoyed if we had the whole like Timeless Child thing and we never did anything more with that in Flux. That would have been really fucking annoying. But I'm game. I like it. I'm happy with that. The whole thing with the snow and the music. You know what, look, I can completely understand it's not everyone's cup of tea, right? And I understand that. For me, there's bits that I don't like. But for me, like, I look at the whole thing and the whole package, and I'm like, the series arc doesn't really work as well for me. No, it doesn't at all. But I've not lost any sleep over it. I'm not going to say that Doctor Who's dead because of it. Because it's not. It's not going to be. Be realistic about it. And it's our generation who kept it alive, you know? Like, get fucking real. It's not done. It's probably never going to be fucking done, right? Because it's always going to keep going. There's always going to be more. What do you think of the theory that Roger Ap Gwilliam is Ruby's half-brother? I think I like it, and I think that the fact that they brought him back for the finale makes it somewhat likely in a sort of vague sense, but I just don't know if that's the direction they're going, to be honest. I feel like there could be something else in that, and I think like there's definitely going to be more unpacked in the next series with Ruby's parentage for sure, because there's just so much still to unpack, and there's, you know, we don't know who her dad is at all. Could be anyone, right? And you know, as I say, we know nothing about like her original heritage or anything like that. I think there's a lot to unpack there, and obviously she's a big part of the story next series. Russell's already confirmed that it's a 2-series arc. It's not a 1-series arc. Not everything was going to be answered in series 1. And I'm kind of glad about that. I like that. It keeps me coming back for something, you know. I would have come back anyway, but you know. I think the Who's There podcast made a really good point today. It's like there was Series 6A, and we're all saying, how will the Doctor survive? I'm feeling let down when we only got answers for River. So when they made that point, though, did they make the point of that this is basically designed in that exact same way, though? That, like, by the end of Season 2, we might actually have answers. Because stuff like Mrs. Flood, like, is intentionally mysterious. And there are people being dramatic and going, well, what if Mrs. Flood is just no one? Is just some random person? It's like, that's not the whole point of the Ruby's mum thing is to subvert those expectations. Now, it wasn't done in the best way. I can completely agree with that. And I completely get why it pissed people off. I really, really do. I do get it. But I just think it's like, of all things, it's just not worth it. And to be honest, that scene in the cafe is just absolutely perfect. And I just love it to bits. It's so emotionally rich and well done, and I love it personally. So I really, I don't know, I don't have many complaints about that, because it is just good in my eyes. That scene anyway, in particular, I think was just stunning. And I think I'd rather it be no one to have such a gorgeous scene like that. If it turned out to be Susan Foreman, I don't think I'd have been as satisfied. It would have been cool for that reactionary social media moment, yes, but would it have been good in terms of writing? Probably not. But then some people would argue this isn't good in terms of writing. It's a real hell-bent scenario here. There's some people who love it, some people who fucking hate it, and both of which are kind of valid and have very valid reasons behind them. So it's hard to sort of take away from, but I think people need to just be a bit less fucking extreme and not pretend like Russell T Davies has attacked them with this script. It's like, I mean, let's be fucking real for a second. It ain't that deep. It is just TV, and I know that says very rich from someone who is making a YouTube channel which capitalizes off said TV show. That it's very silly for me to just go, well, it's just a TV show, but it is. I love talking about Doctor Who, and I love talking about it every single week on the Who Bulletin here, and at work, and like just in social life. I do enjoy talking about it. It's my favourite show. You know, it's not the best show I've ever watched in my life, but it is my favourite show because it's one that I've dedicated so much of my life to and so much of my personal time and enjoyment to. but I don't lose any fucking sleep over a not perfect ending to someone's character arc, because we had some fantastic scenes off the back of it. So for me, it's like I don't feel like I can complain about that. We got some really great stuff in there. Who do I think Mrs. Flood actually is? I think some sort. I hope, in a way, not. I don't want it to be a new character just to stir the shit and be like, "Wow, it'd be funny if she was new." But I kind of think. Oh, I'm gonna have to fucking. It's the only way to stay in this. Okay, that's not too bad. At least we got to Tenant. So what was I saying? I don't actually know who Mrs. Flood is. This is one of those times where I've got absolutely no idea. It's cool to kind of go, is she the is she the Rani? Is she the monk? I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows, and I don't think anyone has any good ideas about who that could be, but I hope it's something either brand new, like mysterious villain, would love that, or it's like the Rani, or it is like the monk, or something like some sort of higher being that it makes sense to break the fourth wall, you know? Not saying that the Rani's like a higher being, but it's a new version of the character, right? We're talking post-Time War, post-everything. Like, there's a lot of context that's not there anymore, so that's good. That makes sense. That's something new, that's something different, that's something more unique. Oh, game over, fuck. Oh dear. Dear. If I feel like anyone feel like some Rory actually died, Kit has got a habit of not dying. I don't really know what you mean by that. Also, I have to say, I fucking love Kate Stewart. A lot of people criticise her. And I got it when it was a very Moffat-y kind of script, but like as a character, purely from a character perspective of having like the daughter of the brigadier heading unit, and the fact that we've got that sort of level of continuity in this show is just, it's just fucking great, and I just love that. I think that's just like fun, you know. I don't have any sort of critical script-wise things to say about it. Yes, they could do 10 times more interesting things with her character. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know better. At the end of the day, it's just personal perspective, isn't it? I'm really annoyed if Mrs. Flood is the Rani. Rani was meant to be cool, ruthless scientist. She's a Time Lord. Menjul, I don't know who that is. So not the character of Mrs. Flood. Yeah, well, I agree, actually. And I think that's why it probably isn't going to be the Rani. I think the Rani's too obvious of an answer, but I think that's also part of the trick, isn't it? You bring in a character who is a mysterious woman in the Doctor Who universe, everyone is going to assume that they are the Rani. And, yeah, checks out. I get that. That makes sense. Jesus Christ. There we go. Really want to bring back Torchwood, let the organisation back into the universe of Doctor Who. I just think we don't need to do... For me, I want to do new stuff, right? And I like... This is why I like the whole Unit situation, is Unit isn't hidden away like it was in the Chibnall era, right? So we had, in Moffat's era, it was sort of a standard organisation, pretty similar to Classic Who, really, in that respect. Then it got defunded in Whittaker's era, probably one of the more interesting things that's been done with Unit, honestly. I just wish they'd developed it more, and made it more of a sort of story point, as opposed to just getting rid of Kate Stewart for a story. But for me, I actually quite like that, Unit's back and it's big and it's bold and it's in a big poncy tower, and that will come to bite them in the arse. I actually really enjoy that, I like that they're a bit smug and a bit pompous and a bit full of themselves, because that will come to bite them in the arse, and it should come to bite them in the arse. Unit have always had a little bit of that streak in them, and it's interesting from a story perspective what they're doing with Unit in the modern day. What would Unit be in the modern day? It probably would be fucking stupid, actually, all things considered, probably would be. New stuff. Also, Martha coming back isn't new. No, it isn't. But like what I'm saying, there's a point in that though. It's not about just rehashing doing Torchwood. Like doing a spin-off is new, right? Not doing like Torchwood 2 or Torchwood again or the Mel Bush adventures where she meets a bunch of kids and befriends them and saves the universe with them. Like we're not just doing Sarah Jane or Torchwood again. We need something different, something new. And I think Little Welsh Village, an old companion sort of retiring, not seeing the Doctor in years. I think that is an interesting concept. Okay, they're bringing back an old character. It's not technically new. It's interesting though. It's interesting. I like that. Do you think the Vlinx is a villain? No, I think the Vlinx is just fodder. I think the Vlinx is just there for the fucking lols. I don't think he's got any sort of good or bad streak in him. He's just fucking there. He just showed up. They just showed up so Nicholas Briggs could get his paycheck while there's no Cybermen or Daleks in the show. And you know what? I'm joking, but possibly has some truth to it, to be honest. Because who else does Nick Briggs voice in this series? No one. No Daleks, no Cybermen. God damn. Needs to be booked and busy, that boy. This is what I mean. Torchwood 2. They've already done it. Big Finish has already done ridiculous amounts of Torchwood. Ridiculous amounts of Class. Ridiculous amounts of... I don't know if they've done more Sarah Jane. They've done a little bit of it, haven't they? But I just think, like, I don't need another one of those. I kind of want something brand new, Because if I feel like... This is the thing also. It's like, it needs to justify itself nowadays. If you do something that could just easily be a Big Finish, it's like, well, what's the fucking point? Because everyone's like, oh, we need a Paul McGann spin-off. I don't think they should ever do another Doctor spin-off. I just don't think it'll ever work alongside the main series. The reason is, how do you differentiate it from the main show of Doctor Who? You can have people who come in and go, oh, this is better, I'm going to watch this instead, yada yada. But it's like, you can't win. You just can't fucking win, that's the thing. Because any time you bring in an old Doctor to do something, you have a chance of overshadowing the new Doctor. Now, I think that's unlikely, because Shooty's fucking amazing. But my point is, it's like, you can't really do an 8th Doctor Paul McGann spin-off and it work alongside a new series. You have to do it. If you're going to do a Doctor Who spin-off, it almost has to be something that feels new and unique and just sort of plays on the elements that are already there in the show's history. And yeah, Barham, Torchwood, best to avoid, to be honest. I'm being careful about this. The slower you sort of take it, the better you can be at it. It's just about patience. There we go. Patience, as I said. They needed to do an 8th Doctor spin-off 10 years ago. Yeah, and the thing is, they've done it in Big Finish. It'd be really great to see more 8th Doctor, but you know what? It's amazing that we got that sort of mini-sode with him on the 50th anniversary, wasn't it? We got to see him regenerate, and that's a really great moment. That we got to have that is incredible, because there was a point in time where that was just never ever going to happen, and it's amazing that we got that. I don't sit here and desire a Doctor Who spin-off series with Paul McGann or with Joe Martin, because that would be unfair on whoever's currently playing the Doctor. Currently it's Shooty, right? But anyone who comes in, it's like, you can't overshadow them, because then what if people don't like it and then they don't watch the main show? The main show is the main show. Whatever the spin-offs are, it has to be separate to that, you know? It has to be separate. In every aspect, it has to be separate. But, you know, you want to keep the continuity there, yes, but you can't have it contradict or come in line with the main show, because then you come into issues, don't you? You can have it cross over, obviously, and that's like the whole point. It's in the same universe, right? That's why Stolen Earth and Journey's End is so much more satisfying. If Shooty's last story has like Jonathan Groff in it and has like Martha in from the spin-off and it has a bunch of other stuff, like that's going to be really satisfying, isn't it? Okay. Lovely stuff. Straight to Tennant. Wonderful. Look at that. Not to sound like the biggest Torchwood obsessed Neek, but I genuinely think it could work if entirely brand new. It could, but my question there would be, what's the point? If it's entirely brand new, do something new. Do something that isn't just a rehash of something we had 15 years ago. Let's try and have some, because we've already got a lot of elements from the show that kind of, I don't think it looks bad on the show, but I think like if you, for general audiences, it's like in the world of Doctor Who, completely brand new for fans and like newcomers alike. That's what Torchwood was, you know what I mean? That's what Torchwood and Sarah Jane was at the time. It was completely brand new and interesting for the worlds of Doctor Who to have a spin-off for kids and for adults. It was genius. It was a genius marketing strategy as well, because it made Doctor Who for everyone, right? It really worked then to do that. And I don't know if that would work now, but you know, if you were able to do that back then and able to convince broadcasters to do spin-offs to that magnitude then they absolutely must have it now. I mean, they've managed to commission a spin-off straight away without. And the interesting thing, I think, with this is, will The War Between Land and Sea be available on Disney Plus? Because if not, why? What's the crack there? Is it a BBC funded production or is it a Disney Plus funded production, like the main series is, right? That's another interesting question to ask. A Rogue spin-off would be interesting. Yeah, a Rogue. I'd kill for something cool and different, you know. As I say, but then I sort of think the monster side of Doctor Who is what makes it more appealing. I feel like the monster fatigue is something that never really tends to come. There's always interesting new monsters, but we've got such a rich history for the show. We should just be seeing some old returning monsters and stuff. Not every episode, not everything to sort of, but it would be nice, because at this point, like, how many more new monsters can we introduce? Good thing, yes, unique new monsters, love it. All here for it every day of the week, but getting something new isn't a bad thing either. Returning old isn't a bad thing. Like the Macra coming back in Gridlock doesn't even change the story at all, but it makes it that much better for fans who have invested so much time into it, you know? Satisfying. Fun. Different. Enjoyable. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. You get my point. But yeah, we'll be wrapping up here as well shortly, by the way. Do you believe Martha will actually come back? I do. I have faith that actually might be what they're doing with it, and you know, that would be really, really good, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be marvellous if they were able to pull that off and able to bring back an old companion in a genuinely interesting and satisfying way. You know, having Donna back was great. And obviously a lot of people will be like, well, you're going to, yada, yada, old fans, new fans, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's alienating new audiences, just fuck off. But I think that would be great. I think it would genuinely be a very good idea. And I'd be completely here for it, to be honest. Completely here for it. Wonderful. Shit. No! Fuck, that's a game over. Okay, well, we'll be doing a little bit more of this later on. I will just sort of specify, once again, for those interested, if you want to hear more Doctor Who thoughts from me, I am working on reviews for the last couple episodes. for Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death. I am working on proper reviews of them. I haven't just forgotten. And you might be wondering as well, like, obviously last time there wasn't any Doctor Who on. I only did the live streams. I didn't make any videos. Rest assured, I am making videos. It's not going to be super regular. It's not going to be weekly. But I am in the process of making videos. I have 2 that I'd prepped prior to the series even launching that I just didn't get time to finish. And that is a full retrospective review of the Star Beast, which I think is genuinely pretty good. I spent a lot of time writing that one, and a ranking of all the TARDIS interiors. So those 2 videos are ones that I'm working on slowly in the background. I also have a few experimental projects I want to work on that are sort of Doctor Who focused. So I just wanted to give you that sort of thing of, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere now the series is finished. We're still going to be here every single Tuesday doing the Who Bulletin, and I've got a few more videos in the pipeline to come. In the meantime, though, if you're interested in seeing what I've got coming up, all that sort of thing, obviously always remember that every single Tuesday we stream here on YouTube until about 8 o'clock, this time 10 past 8, and then we head over to twitch.tv/gbsheard, my Twitch channel, where we play some video games and talk a little bit more Doctor Who. At the minute we're not playing any big video games, so what's likely going to happen is we're going to play a bit of Lego Star Wars, and then we will move to playing more of the 13th or the 13 Doctors game. So stay tuned for that, and later on we'll probably go back to playing that Doctor Who game and chatting about Doctor Who. So if you're interested in continuing this, you can absolutely head over there. We've got, God, I've zoomed it in so much for the game. On Twitch, we've currently got 698 followers. So if there's 2 more of you who aren't already following the Twitch, it'd be really, really appreciated to get to that 700 number today. We're just going to be chilling and playing some Lego Star Wars. As soon as this live stream ends here on YouTube, we're going to be live over here on twitch.tv/gbsheard. So do check that out, and we'll be heading over there very shortly. And as you know as well, every single Tuesday we stream here on the Who Bulletin from 7 till 8, on Twitch from 8 till 10 p.m, and then every Thursday we have a new podcast episode here on YouTube and on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon, all that sort of lovely stuff. And something that I very, very rarely promote, that I want to because I've been putting a lot of effort into it recently, is a TikTok. Believe it or not, we do have a TikTok, and it is linked in the description of this live stream, believe it or not. Hang on a second. And here it is. And you can't see the thing. There we go. Nostalgia Bit Podcast. We have new clips pretty much every single day. Not every single day all the time. Sometimes I forget. But mostly every single day we've got a brand new clip from the podcast. So if you're not really sure about listening to long-form, waffly discussions, then feel free to check this out first and see if it's your cup of tea. If you like the clips and you find them funny, it might be a podcast that you actually want to listen to. So we've got that. And I have got one for Doctor Who clips as well, which I believe is GB Sheard. So that as well. We do have... Oh, wow! Thank you for following over on Twitch. That's what happens when you follow on Twitch. A big crisp appears on screen. So thank you for that. But yeah, I've also got a one for personal stuff as well. I get sometimes to report this sort of shit. Like, I feel like it's sort of interesting to kind of go and just remind people that I make content on literally fucking every platform. So yeah, that's basically all I'm talking about. And then we're done there. So yeah. Live streams every Tuesday, podcasts every Thursday, and there will be more YouTube videos here on the channel in the future, talking about Doctor Who, obviously, as well as a few other things. So yeah, we're going to head over to Twitch now, so do check out that. I'll put a link in the chat. Do go and give me a follow if you haven't already. Let's get to that wonderful 700 number. We're now 699 followers. I mean, literally one more person coming and following today would absolutely make my day and get us to 700 subscribers. So that would be followers on Twitch. So that would be really greatly appreciated. But yeah, click on the link now, head over, and I will see you all in about a minute.